Hey guys, Corey here. Wanted to take a second out of our day on the water and film a product review for you guys. The product review we're going to do today is a product that I believe in 100%, and I can't put it any more straightforward than that. This is a product that I ran on this boat and in my previous boat as well. And in both instances, I've just been absolutely in awe at what this product can do for you. And the product we're talking about is the V-T2 Livewell vents from New Pro Products. You can see them right here on the top of the Livewell lids. And in a second, we'll get into how they work and why you guys need them and all that stuff. But you know, you think about summertime fishing, you think about hot water, and one of the problems that comes with that is keeping your fish healthy in a live well. And there's so many different ways that people go about trying to keep their fish healthy, and it can get really complicated and really time consuming. Myself, for example, you know, I've just recently installed these on this boat. I haven't owned this boat all that long, and when I got this boat it didn't have these on it, and so I went ahead and ordered the VT2 vents for the boat. But in the meantime, the water got hot before I got around to getting them installed, and there's been a couple tournaments where I've had to fight trying to keep these fish alive, and I can tell you guys my regimen for keeping fish alive without having the VT2 Livewell vents is a every 30-minute process throughout the day. I come back every 30 minutes and I check the water temperature in my Livewell. As you can see here, I'll show you. I've got a pool thermometer. It's a rubber duck. He's cool. I got a shark in the other one, but I come back here every 30 minutes and check the temperature of the Livewell water, and I wanted that water to stay a couple degrees to 5 degrees cooler than the lake water. I didn't want it to get much cooler than that, but at least just a degree or two. Doesn't sound like much, but that's a big deal. Those fish, they notice a degree or two difference, and you can, when the water's hot, if you can keep your water in your Livewell a degree or two cooler, 3 degrees cooler, whatever, those fish are going to relax more. There's going to be a lot less stress, and they're going to be a lot healthier and stand a much better chance at surviving after they're released. That's something a lot of guys don't think about, is what happens with these fish after we release them. And when I was talking about my regimen of keeping my fish healthy in a Livewell and saying it was an every 30-minute process, I'd come back here every 30 minutes and I'd check my temperature of the Livewell water, and I carried with me a separate cooler that had frozen bottles of water in it. And first thing in the morning, before I even caught a fish, I'd fill the Livewell up and I'd throw a couple frozen bottles of water in there to start the cooling process. I'd go ahead and throw in my catch and release, my Livewell additive, and I'd turn my aerators on, get that stuff circulating real good. And then when you catch fish, put it in there, check the Livewell water. If it's warming up, drop another bottle of frozen water in there. And then every 30 minutes, I'd have to come back here and do that. And I would go through a dozen, 15 frozen bottles of water throughout the day just to maintain a couple degree cooler Livewell water. It was a hassle. I mean, when you're talking in a tournament fishing setting, that's eating up a lot of time that you want to be spending up there and not back here knelt over the Livewell. Another thing that I did was I carried a bottle of peroxide. There's a formula. You can take dimension measurements of your Livewell, figure out how many gallons it is, and there's actually a formula that tells you how many ounces of hydrogen peroxide you can add to your Livewell, and hydrogen peroxide will saturate your Livewell water with oxygen. So and oxygen's a big part of keeping your fish healthy, don't get me wrong, but that's not all there is to it. There's other factors. These fish, when they're in a Livewell, they're putting off gas, you know, and you got metabolic gas building up in a Livewell. You've got heat building up in a Livewell that you're trying to fight with your bottles of water. Your oxygen levels are a problem. You're fighting that with the peroxide, and the whole time you're fighting the clock, because every 30 minutes I was coming back here. Halfway through the day, I would drain this Livewell, and I'd fill this Livewell up first and go through the same process all over again. And once this water was treated, I'd switch my fish over and pump this Livewell out. And it's a whole lot of hassle, you know. And so the VT2 vents from New Pro Products honestly do away with all of that. There is absolutely none of that. And my Livewell maintenance now involves catching the fish, filling the live well up, putting some live well additive in it, and that's all there is to it. And the products themselves, the VT2 vents themselves, keep the live well water cooler. They keep all that gas flowing out of the live well, so you got fresh air in there. And they do it without you having to be back here babysitting it. And that's just huge. You know, that's to a tournament angler especially, but to any angler, we don't want to spend our time back here, you know, worrying about the live well water. We want to be up there having fun and fishing, and the VT2 vents allow you to do that. Excuse me. And let's go ahead and get into the vents and what they are and how they function. As you can see, it's just a round vent that sits on top of the live well. It's got a fin on the front and a fin on the back. When you open the live well and you look in here, you'll see actually how the vents, what makes them tick, what makes them work so well. The front and the back is divided by this divider right here. So remember, on the top side of the live well, we had a vent on this side, or a fin on this side and a fin on this side. And what happens is, as you're running down the lake, the air gets forced into the fin on this side and down this hole here. It blows across your water that's in your live well, and it helps cool the water off, and it also forces all that hot air out this side here. So you got cool air, fresh air coming in here, blowing across your live well water, and then exiting on this side, and it's just flushing all that hot metabolic gas air. I mean, it's a mess in there. You guys know how many times have you opened your live well lid on a hot summer day, and you can just feel that burst of heat coming out of there. There's none of that once you install these vents. All that hot air just escapes the live wells on its own, you know, as you're just moving around the lake fishing, and that's all you have to do. So as a matter of fact, I fished a tournament last weekend. Water temperatures up there in the mid 80s. It was super hot that day. Hottest day we've had so far this year was up there 97, I believe, is what I heard the high was. And my first keeper went in the live well at 7 o'clock that morning, and we didn't cull that fish. We ended up weighing that fish, and at weigh-in, that fish, along with all the rest of them that were in our bag, were just unbelievably energetic, happy. They were so lively. And you know, you go through a live well, or you go through a tournament weigh-in, and you see fish hit the scales, and a lot of times they're alive, but they're not flopping, or, you know, and my fish, it took a little bit for them to actually lay still long enough to get the weight registered. So they were extremely lively, extremely healthy. Not a doubt in my mind that those fish are still alive and swimming today. And all I did that morning was fill the live well up with water, put live well additive in it, and ran my recirculator. That's all there is to it. So it just really simplifies the process of keeping your fish healthy, and it just makes it so much quicker and does a better job of it. The installation process it can be scary at first. I'm going to be honest with you. So many guys I've heard are worried about installing these vents because you got to take a 3-inch hole saw to your live well lid. Don't X out of this video yet. Let me explain this to you guys. It's super easy to do, and as long as you just take the appropriate measurements and figure out exactly where you want your vents to go, the hole saw is not scary. It's not difficult. You get a real clean look, and matter of fact, we shot a video on our installation process and showed you guys how we do it, and gave you guys a couple tips that we learned from installing them on the previous boat. So be sure, if you're interested, which I hope that you are, head over and find that video that shows the installation on this boat here, and it'll take a lot of the worry out of it for you guys. It's real straightforward, real easy. They provide all the hardware, you provide the tools, and from start to finish, to do both live wells, 15 minutes probably, you know, so it's not that big of a deal at all. I just can't stress enough how valuable these live well vents are. Just guys, fish care has got to be on the forefront of your mind all the time. I mean, it's our responsibility to make sure these fish live, and these fish make it to spawn, and I want to make sure that my son's got good fishing to look forward to as he gets older, and it's our responsibility. I mean, you know, carelessness is not going to ensure that. So you know, there's so many horror stories out there of fish kills after tournaments. You know, fish that probably were perfectly healthy or seemed perfectly healthy at the weigh-in ended up dying after they're released. And you stop and think of all the stuff that's going on, and you've got, you know, you're adding chemicals, you're adding peroxide, you're adding chlorine with your ice, and even though it keeps the fish alive for the minute, and you get credit for them at weigh-in, what happens to them after they're released? Well, the one thing I do know is if you're not adding chemicals to the live well and you're keeping the water cooler in the live well, you don't have to worry about it. You know, you free and clear. You turn the fish loose, they're gonna live. So I like that. Just, I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. And one thing I want to say before we close this video out is the folks at New Pro Products told us that they recently went to the Bass Fest tournament on Kentucky Lake, and they went there, I'm sure, as fishing fans, but they also went there because they wanted to compare temperatures of live well water from guys that are using their products to guys that are using the ice and all that stuff. And I was really interested, and I wanted to be sure and put this in a video, I was really interested to hear that the guys that are using their products, just the vents, not adding any ice or anything like that, just the vents, their live well water was 4 degrees cooler on average than the guys that have been fighting all day, putting ice in the live well and, you know, trying to keep up and keep the water cool. 4 degrees difference between installing the vents and not doing a dang thing and fighting it all day, you know, adding ice and stuff like that. So I guess I probably could have just put that in there and left the video at that, because that speaks volumes about what these vents can do. And so I just wanted to pass it along to you guys. It's a product that I've been super happy with. I absolutely believe in their products, and I beg you guys, if you aren't doing anything to keep your fish healthy and you're fighting losing fish in tournaments, please go over to New Pro Products, check their site out, look around a little bit. Email them, email us if you got any questions we can help you with. But I think you guys will be very, very happy at the results of these vents, and I can guarantee you, and I know this firsthand, that the money that you spend on the vents, which isn't a lot, you will more than recoup that in 1 year of not having to buy ice to add to your live wells. I promise you that much. So anyways, that'll do it for the review on the VT2 live well vents from New Pro Products. For more product reviews, how-to videos, anything else you guys can think of, check us out at GillzGoneWild.com, and thank you guys for watching.